The Miami Dolphins have their next head coach. It became official on Monday afternoon. Jeff Hafley, the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator, will be the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins, replacing Mike McDaniel. The Dolphins complete their transition from whatever we have been over the last 25 years into a new era led by two people and individuals coming from the Green Bay Packers organization. I have jokingly said it on Twitter and on our YouTube shows that we are going to transcend into Green Bay Packer South. Well, folks, we have borderline completed that transition with John Eric Sullivan as GM and Jeff Hafley as head coach. I think this is a very solid hire. We are going to get into all of it on today's stream. The report obviously coming in from Tom Pelissero. But the truth is, this was the top candidate for Miami as soon as they hired John Eric Sullivan to be their GM. For however you want to take it, the relationship that was built over the last 2 years between Sully and Hafley must have been pretty good. And for the people out there that are just going to say right away that this is a buddy-buddy hire and nothing is changing in Miami, same old, I'm going to disagree with you. Because Jeff Hafley was interviewed by 6 NFL teams that had 9 vacancies, right? The only teams not to interview Hafley were the Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, and New York Giants. Bills obviously never had a chance because they just fired their head coach today. And out of the 6 interviews Hafley had, 4 of them wanted a second. Miami, Arizona, Tennessee, and Las Vegas. Yet Miami did not allow another team to get a second interview with Jeff Hafley because the second interview he took was with Miami today. And once Miami completed the Rooney Rule satisfications with Patrick Graham and Kelvin Shepard early on Monday morning, everybody knew that he was going to be the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I think it is a fine hire. I am not going to try to spin this and tell you right now that this is the best hire Miami could have made. I don't think that is the case whatsoever. But it is also not the worst hire the Dolphins could have made. And I like, and we'll talk about this quite a bit the rest of this offseason and beyond, that we have an aligned vision and plan and program that will be put in place between your head coach and GM. And I do like that quite a bit. All right. We got done with my little monologue here. What is your one-word reaction to the Dolphins hiring Jeff Hafley as head coach? As we welcome in producer Coop. Appreciate the 154 people watching. Let me know your one word. Coop, what's your one word? What are your thoughts?
My one word is Packers. I mean,
that's a good one word.
And look, they're trying to emulate what the Green Bay Packers have done, who have been one of the most successful franchises of this century. Has that resulted in Super Bowls? Well, they have won, but they are constantly in the conversation. They are constantly in the playoffs. They are a winning franchise, and they are a stable franchise, and that is what the Dolphins are looking for here. They are looking for stability with John Eric Sullivan and with Jeff Hafley as the new head coach. Look, I think it's a good hire. I'm not going to come out here and say he's the flat-out best coach on the market, and I don't think anyone would go out and tell you. But is he a good fit for what the Dolphins are trying to accomplish culturally and on the football field? I absolutely do believe that he is, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I really do. It's like the Miami Dolphins are going to be built the Green Bay Packers way. Is that a bad way to go? No, it is not.
No,
it just isn't. Like, and I can't stand, and I'm literally tweeting this out right now, I'm making a list of all the people that hated the Jeff Hafley hire before it was made. No one is even giving him a chance.
No, not at all. Because they don't like how he looks, or because he's not Sean McDermott, or because he's not the sexy name at head coach. Like, let's give John Eric Sullivan and let's give Jeff Hafley an offseason.
Everybody was excited about John Eric Sullivan being hired as GM. Everybody. We were like, oh, we're finally going to rebuild this organization the right way by doing it through the draft, developing the players you do draft, keeping them here, not letting them walk, like we've seen with Deshaun Elliott, Brandon Jones, Alex Van Ginkel, Robert Hunt over the last 5 years. Yet, all of that good grace is thrown away because they don't like the way their head coach looks now that they hired Jeff Hafley.
What are we doing?
People want to call it a friendly hiring, like they didn't meet for the first time 2 years ago. Like, it's not like they worked together a decade ago. It's not like they grew up in the same area and kind of grew up in the football landscape together. They just started working with each other for the first time in 2024. He was requested for a second interview 4 times. How are you going to try to tell me this guy is a bad coach without ever seeing him actually be a head coach? I don't know if he's going to be good. You don't know if he's going to be good. Let's at least give him a chance before hating on him before he even coaches once on the sideline. I got a lot more to say, and I'm sure you do as well. But today's breaking news stream is brought to you by Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close out the season right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stat projections, and you can cash in. They've got injury reboots. What does that mean? If your player gets hurt in the first half and does not return, that doesn't mean you lose. That player just gets removed from your lineup. My entry for tonight's big game, non-professional but college football, more than Carson back pass attempts, more than Malachi Tony receptions, and more than on Omar Cooper Jr. touchdowns. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's live show. We're going to take a lot of questions from you guys. We're going to create a lot of conversation. If you want your thoughts to be on today's live show as we react to Jeff Hafley being hired, the best way to do that is Super Chat. We'll get your thoughts on screen. And to celebrate the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins, we're going to be offering for the first 30 minutes of today's live show. So for the next 22 minutes, $20 beer bongs. How about it, Coop?
I'm in.
We're doing beer bongs for $20 to celebrate the new Dolphins head coach, Jeff Hafley. Why not bring him in? Let's freaking go. Let's have a good time. Let's have some optimism because we have our new GM. We have our new head coach that agree on how to build a program, how to implement a program, how to build a structure. And I'm excited for Miami to finally have that.
It fires me up, man.
It does.
They're making competent decisions.
Right, and I'm not going to act like he's the best hiring.
Nobody is.
It's not.
He's number 4 on your list.
Correct. He was number 4 on my list. It was Jesse Minter, number 1. Number 2 is Robert Salah. And number 3 was Chris Shula. But Jeff Hafley came in at number 4 and is a very fine, good candidate. I'm sorry that you guys are so miserable about everything and can't see any point of optimism with him being hired as head coach when he was requested for a second interview by 4 organizations. Clearly someone valued across the league. Clearly. Didn't he suck at Boston College? If you consider sucking having above 500 record twice and 500 another year, having them bowl eligible in 2 seasons at a historically bad program, sure, go ahead. That was his 4 years at Boston College. One of the worst Division I football programs in the entire NFL or college football.
Easily a bottom 3 P4 job.
There's no world people look at Boston College and say, oh man, I want to go coach football there.
No, it doesn't happen.
By the way, it was so bad that Jeff Hafley left on his own. Just so you guys know. When he jumped from Boston College to the NFL to be the Packers defensive coordinator, he didn't get fired from Boston College. He left because he knew that place stunk. It stunk. So I'll try to ask you the question of, you find a head coach that is going to go to Boston College and make it a perennial powerhouse. Go ahead.
It ain't happening. So quit asking.
Go ahead. I'm just going to continue to bring this point up. I am not trying to convince you this was the right guy and it was the best man for the job. because that is not what I have said. It is not what I am saying. But the people that say this is the worst hire imaginable are just small-minded individuals. Because the worst hire imaginable would have been Joe Brady. It would have been Patrick Graham, Kelvin Shepard. 3 of the 10 interviews Miami had. The Dolphins interviewed 10 people. 2 of them got hired. John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski. 3 of them would have been an absolute train wreck, the 3 that I just mentioned. That left 5 guys. Hafley, Campanelli, or that left 6 guys, excuse me. Hafley, Campanelli, Minter, Shula, Kubiak, Saleh. And I think out of the 7 guys, or the 6 guys, Hafley is at number 4. So I'm not acting like he's the best hire. I just think it's ridiculous at how many people aren't even giving him a chance. Not even a chance, Coop.
Because they don't like his hair. You just, if you're not going to give Jeff Hafley a chance, then you're just never going to be satisfied with what the Dolphins do.
Give him a shot, dude.
Like, did you, like, let's be honest.
Well, let me know. Grade the hiring of Jeff Hafley. It seems like most of you guys are going to say F. Now, the live poll, 44% say B, 22% say A, 19% C, D or F 15%. So maybe the people in the live chat are just a little bit more vocal than the people hiding, not commenting.
Which is usually the case. But look, man, like, you mentioned it as well, and I'll go back to it. There is a reason he was sought after. It is not just the Miami Dolphins that wanted Jeff Hafley. He had second interviews with 3 other teams besides Miami. So he was clearly a sought-after commodity, and the Dolphins, because of their previous rapport with him, were able to get a deal done. They were able to, John Eric Sullivan was able to offer him the Dolphins head coaching position, and because they knew each other, yes, it helped get the deal done. And there could be a lot worse things that the Miami Dolphins could be doing than trying to replicate what the Green Bay Packers are doing.
Someone says Indiana was bad, but now look at Cignetti. Yeah, let me know when Boston College gets Mark Cuban funding their team. I bet you didn't think about that. They went from one of the worst NIL spending programs in college football to one of the highest because they got Mark Cuban spending money for them. If Mark Cuban was spending millions of dollars to help build out Boston College football, I'm sure it would have been a different story, folks.
Like Matt Ryan and Doug.
Context matters.
Matt Ryan and Doug Flutie aren't donating tens of millions of dollars to Boston College football.
If you guys just want to be miserable, I'm telling you now, I'm writing down people's names, and when you guys, I'm not saying it will happen, but if they are successful, I do not want you guys to bathe in the success.
You don't deserve it.
Correct. Like, not even giving them a chance is crazy. Axie with a 5. Appreciate you. Should we apologize to Jags fans in case Hafley poaches Campanelli from them as his DC? I already did. They're good friends. Yeah, Anthony Campanelli and Jeff Hafley are really good friends, but he would not be leaving Jacksonville for a lateral move. He wouldn't do it. One, because the Jaguars can block it, right?
They wouldn't let
The
him.
Dolphins could request an interview for Campanelli as defensive coordinators, but the Jaguars could just say no and block it, right? Block.
Yeah, they could.
Done.
They absolutely could.
No, I know. Like, that's what I it wasn't really a question.
Yeah,
it was more of just
yes.
like, right? So that won't happen. It just won't. I wish it would, but it won't. Soto with a 10. I'm not going to pretend I'm excited. Salah was my guy. These fans are pissed because they love the name Shula too much. Hafley is our coach, people. Get the F over it. Kind of exactly how I feel.
He's your
Exactly how I
coach,
feel.
whether you like it or not, so support him.
Like, I don't get it.
Get behind it. And if you don't get behind it and they take off, you shouldn't get to bathe in the success.
If he is a bad head coach, no one will be first in line to say that was a disaster hire than yours truly. But I am not going to make the claim that he is an awful hire and was the worst potential candidate for Miami before he even coaches a game. That is just ridiculous. It's short-sighted, and it's miserable, pessimistic thinking. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
The new era begins today, and look, they have a tall task ahead of them, not the least of which is what to do with Tua Tagovailoa. I think we know that they're going to cut him. It's just a matter of whether it's pre or post June 1. And then Hafley has to get to work implementing this culture that he wants to bring to this team. I'll tell you this right now. I will put a guarantee on this right now for next season. The Dolphins will be a more physical football team than they were this year.
Oh, yeah, I would agree there. I'll also say, like, I am not going to act like the Dolphins are going to be better in 2026 than 2025. Like, we've also been very consistent saying this.
Absolutely.
The Dolphins roster is going to be completely turned over in a new scheme, new everything put in place. Miami is not going to be good next year. The rebuild really begins in 2027.
Because they'll have $100 million in cap space next offseason.
In 2027 offseason, you're going to have $100 million in cap space and a top 10 pick.
That's right.
That's when the rebuild begins. This entire offseason in 2026 is going to be fixing your salary cap in your books, in accumulating some young talent. Listen, Coop, you do have 5 picks in the top 90 as we currently sit.
And if Anthony Weaver does get hired as a DC by another team, I believe the Dolphins get an additional third-round comp pick.
2. Well, they'll get 1 this year and 1 year after that. But yeah, right now with the Texans and Eagles both being out of the playoffs, teams that owe Miami a third-round pick due to previous trades, 5 picks in the top 90. They have their own first, second, and third, and then the 2 other thirds from Philly and Houston. 87 is the Philly pick. That's coming in from Jalen Phillips' trade at the deadline. And then the 90th overall pick coming in from Houston, which is a rare good trade that Chris Greer made this past NFL draft, trading back from the 4th round. They traded away their 4th-round pick to Houston to get a third-rounder this year, and that turned out to be pick number 90 on the dot.
Yeah, very smart. And then obviously the Eagles losing in the first round certainly helped things as well, giving them the best draft position there. So, yes, you have 5 picks in the top 90, and you would expect with those picks to find contributors. I mean, that's the goal there, is to find 5 guys who take up 5 of your 53-man roster and are able to contribute in a positive way. That's your goal there.
Yeah. I really like, you guys make it so miserable sometimes, man. It's true.
No,
like,
I know.
I'm going to say, like, there are days you should always be optimistic. Even if you do not like the hire, you should always be optimistic when you hire a new GM or head coach. Because how are you supposed to know if he's good or bad? There is no information that you could say that makes him a good or bad NFL head coach candidate. It's true. I could just provide you what he's done at each stop. But guys, we've seen good head coaches not show anything in the past. Like, I'll read off the super chat from John Soto. For John Harbaugh, for example.
Exactly.
You know what John Harbaugh was before he became the head coach of the Ravens? A special teams coach.
Nobody knew.
They just like the way he can lead. And you imagine when you have the head coach or the GM, Troy Aikman, the entire process start, that when you speak to Hafley, you think he can lead. Richard Sherman said back when he was underneath Jeff Hafley, he's one of the most prepared individuals that he's ever been with. You guys go be miserable in your own life. I'm going to choose to be optimistic until I see something otherwise. Soto, $5, really hoping Weaver gets the head coaching position in Pittsburgh or Baltimore. I really want those 2 third-round comp picks. Speaking of a rebuild. Yeah, I mean, that would be really ideal, right? Like,
absolutely.
Do I think he gets hired there?
Now,
no.
Is it only if he gets a head coaching gig?
Yes.
Okay, so if he's a
he
DC,
has to be upgraded, promoted.
So if he's a DC in another place,
correct, you get nothing.
Got it.
You get another. You get nothing. So, listen, I'm going to choose to be optimistic. You guys can choose your own thing. But over 385 people watching. Come on, hit that thumbs up icon. Hit that thumbs button. We got 50 likes. Let's get to 100 likes. Come on. Let's get to 100 likes. It should be a happy day, and you guys are all miserable.
It should be happy. And you are right as well. Like, in all likelihood, this team is going to have a worse record in 2026 than they did in 25. People will use that against Hafley.
Yeah, I'll make the statement right now. If the Dolphins are better next year than they were this year, we might have the best coach in the NFL.
Maybe.
Like, I will be so honest with you. My expectations for the Dolphins in 2026 is 4-13. 5-12, maybe. That is my expectation. Because the Dolphins will not have a legit quarterback on their hands. They will have so much different people on their roster. There is no expectations from me that they're going to be good next year. None. So if they are somehow equivalent to 2025 or better, that's an unbelievable job by Hafley.
Absolutely. I mean, I really hope that he's just able to come in and he's able to just implement his style of football, implement his style of coaching and exactly what he wants to do. And I think he will be able to do that in a collaborative effort with John Eric Sullivan. I did see some people in the chat talking about how was his defense the last couple of years. Look, the Packers defense was top half each of the last 2 years. Were they the best defense in the world? No. This year they obviously dealt with a lot of injuries as well. Micah Parsons tearing his ACL in the latter half of the year. But they were still a decent enough defense. They were 11th in points, 12th in total yards, just below middle of the pack in rushing yards, and just above middle of the pack in passing. So they were a decent defense. And in 2024, they were a very good defense, in fact. So he can coach that side of the ball. What I'll be curious to see is if he's going to take charge and call plays on defense. I guess it depends on what coordinator hire he ends up making.
I'm curious. I'm sure in his introductory press conference that question will be asked. I'm curious to see if he'll have an answer for it or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he will as well.
You know what? I'm going to go on the limb. I have no clue. I'm going to guess he doesn't.
That you don't. Yeah, I think he will be a CEO head coach. I agree.
I don't think he calls plays. I think it's going to be very similar to DeMeco Ryans, who was a defensive-minded head coach before he got hired by Houston. And I think he will ultimately have a lot of input on the defense, like in terms of the game plan,
of course,
in the plan a week-to-week basis. But he will not call plays.
Yep.
Because to me, I will say this, and I will be very consistent in this. And I know a lot of first-time head coaches, if they're offensive-minded, do end up calling plays. And I understand that. You want to call your plays and implement your system. I think it could be very overwhelming to try to manage the entire game, but also call plays. I would suggest if you're a first-time head coach not doing that. But if you're an elite play caller, like a Ben Johnson, a Kyle Shanahan, a McVay, I understand wanting to call plays. I would not label Hafley as an elite play caller. Is he a good play caller? I mean, he had 2 top half defenses in the NFL, so I'm going to say it's at least above average with the Green Bay Packers. But I don't think it's elite to where it's like, all right, let's make sure we're calling plays. Go ahead, Coach.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're just installing the game plan and having a good scheme week in, week out, all right, that's all that I need.
I was going to say, before we get to the super chat from Jeremy, and then we'll get to the rest as well, odds that Anthony Weaver stays on as DC?
It's certainly not the most unlikely scenario.
Yeah.
I'll say this, guys. Like, if Anthony Weaver doesn't get the head coaching job in Baltimore or Pittsburgh, there is a legit outcome where he is the Dolphins defensive coordinator once again. Why do I say that? Hafley, before joining the San Francisco 49ers as an assistant and a coordinator in 2016, he was in Cleveland in 2014 and 2015 as a assistant coach on the defensive side of the ball, who was also a defensive coach on that side of the ball in Cleveland at that time, Anthony Weaver. So Jeff Hafley and Weaver worked together in the past with the Cleveland Browns. So if he does not get a head coaching job, I could absolutely see Hafley saying, hey, Weave, like, listen, we worked in Cleveland together. If they had a good relationship in that time, I don't know if they did, but I could see Hafley trying to keep Weaver on as DC. And that would allow you to retain some of these veterans as well that you have, like a Rasul Douglas, a Jack Jones, who like Anthony Weaver, like the defensive system Miami has had this season. It also helps you keep continuity with your younger defensive guys like Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers, Jordan Brooks, who know this system. So you don't have to change much, but you just get a little bit of a Hafley kind of fingerprint on it. So absolutely he could return as defensive coordinator. We'll talk a lot about the coordinators that he could ultimately have in Miami coming up, but let's answer these super chats now. Jeremy Brewer says draft Lenore Sellers and Nick Harbor next year. Hey, maybe. I mean, both are returning to South Carolina for another year. If they improve drastically, maybe. Harbor 6'4", track star, DK Metcalf on steroids. When you look at his speed and physical ability, he's not a good route runner, and he doesn't have the best hands. Also can say that about DK Metcalf, but certainly Lenore Sellers could be one of the top head coach or quarterbacks in the 2027 draft. Bob, who do you want Hafley to bring in as OC? Good question. Do we have that List 10 logo? Money. Let's bring it up. I've already taken a look at some potential coordinators that Jeff Hafley may bring in to Miami, and I think these are very legit options here. 4 that I'm looking at right away. Bobby Slowik, former Texans offensive coordinator, current Miami pass game specialist and offensive consultant. Why? I already mentioned that Jeff Hafley worked in San Francisco from 2016 to 2018. You know who was also in San Francisco at that time? Bobby Slowik. Slowik's already in Miami. He was an offensive coordinator in the past in 23 and 24. Got the best years of C.J. Stroud's career. I know it's only 3 years, but first 2 years, that's where Stroud was at his best. I think Slowik might have gotten an early boot there. Slowik has gotten a request from the Eagles to interview as an offensive coordinator candidate. I think Slowik is an option. Steve Shimko, the Cowboys quarterback coach, him and Hafley worked together in the past. Is he one of those guys that gets upgraded? Dak Prescott's obviously been phenomenal over the past couple of years. Could he be a candidate? Maybe. Connor Lewis, Green Bay pass game specialist. That is an intriguing name. Sean Mannion, Packers quarterback coach, former NFL head coach, young, early 30s. A lot of people believe he's a rising coach in the NFL and could be an offensive coordinator candidate sooner rather than later. We will see some names trickle out, and the Dolphins will absolutely have an interview process to find their next offensive coordinator. But those are some early names that I would think Dolphins fans should keep an eye out for. I'm sure there will be more people linked to Jeff Hafley, but those are the 4 that I immediately thought of for him as he becomes the next Dolphins head coach. Soto with a 5. Reading these comments are making me laugh. This is why people call us some of the worst fans in the NFL. You fans suck, in parentheses. A lot of people negative about it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
What is there to say?
I don't know why, but.
And this next super chat as well will segue me into a question I was going to bring up.
Okay.
Shout out from Caleb. He says, will Hafley bring over some players from Green Bay? I mean, Malik Willis is the obvious one we need to talk about here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that probably in depth again on a video. Obviously, when John Eric Sullivan was hired as GM, a lot of people connected the dots of Malik Willis, who's a free agent, a potential quarterback signing for Miami this offseason. The question is, will they have enough cap space to sign him? Because there's a world where Malik Willis gets $15, $20 million per year. I mean, Dan Orlovsky's been on a generational run of bad takes here, Coop.
Yes, he has.
But he's floated out there Malik Willis could get 2 years for $45 million. I think I would sign Malik Willis to a 1-year, $15 million contract.
What did Fields get? 2 for 40?
2 for 45.
Basically the same deal. The only difference is Fields
has had multi-year
correct
experience as an NFL starter.
Correct.
Now, I'll be honest. I would do the Sam Darnold, the Daniel Jones.
The 1 year,
$12, $15 million deal. You be our starter next year. If it goes really well, we'll extend you. If it doesn't, well, we'll be drafting in 2027. So that's an obvious one. Another player to keep an eye on is linebacker Quay Walker. He's a free agent from Green Bay. Is that someone Hafley would want to bring with him to Miami? Possibly. Dolphins already have 2 starting linebackers under contract. Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson, both final year of their deals in 2026. So who knows?
Quay Walker's a good player.
Quay Walker's good. Maybe they keep the two starters in Dodson and Brooks. Maybe they get rid of them and bring in a guy like Quay Walker or draft a Sonny Styles out of Ohio State with pick number 11. I don't know.
Jair?
Alexander? Yeah. No. But, yeah, those are the two that comes to mind. There's an edge rusher I'm spacing on. Who is it? Kingsley
Enigbare?
Yeah, Kingsley Enigbare is another player. Edge rusher, former middle-round pick, has only had about 3-4 sacks in each of the last couple of years for Green Bay, but he's a free agent, likely going to make $3-4 million per year. Like, he's not expensive. Kingsley Enigbare is an absolute fascinating name that you should keep an eye on, as Miami desperately needs to add edges to this roster. So, the three that I think are the most likely, if they were to bring them from Green Bay to Miami, Malik Willis, Kingsley Enigbare, Quay Walker.
Like that.
Those are the three that I think Miami fans
could do a lot worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Could do a lot worse. Quay Walker's interesting. If you do get Quay Walker in free agency, you'd have to pay him probably $10 million per year.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably like a 3 for 30. Probably what you paid Jordan Brooks a couple of years ago when you signed him to a 3 for, I think it was $29, $30 million deal. I forget what it was exactly. Probably be a similar contract there. So you would have to get rid of Jordan Brooks or Tyrell Dodson, though. Dodson's certainly a cut candidate. You can cut him and save $3 million and only have about $1 million in dead cap. So, but my question is, are you cutting him in looking to pay $7 more million per year on that position?
Exactly. I mean, it's not one of the premium positions, although linebacker absolutely is important. So we'll see, but I do think that Quay Walker is a really good player and could certainly help out this defense. And he already knows, I know it's cliche, but he already knows the Jeff Hafley system, whatever that is. And he could help bring these guys along. I wouldn't hate that at all if you brought in all three of those guys.
I think Quay Walker is unlikely, though. I just don't see it. I really don't, because you have to pay him a lot of money. Jordan Brooks is one of the best linebackers in football. Is there the need to pay a combined $20 million to your linebacker position on a rebuilding team? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jay Rivero in the building. Start of a new era. Let's go. That came in the first 30 minutes. I said I was doing $20 beer bongs for the first 30 minutes of the live show. Jay Rivero, you're a legend. We're going to continue to do $50 beer bongs, and we'll do shots of tequila for $20 the rest of the way.
Oh.
I got the Patron in the building. We're celebrating the new Dolphins head coach.
We're going to be lit by the game tonight.
Hell yeah. $20 shots, $50 beer bongs the rest of the way. But this one's a beer bong because it came in the first 30 minutes of the live.
Shout out Jay Rivero.
Shout out one of the legends, Jay Rivero. Shout out Jay Rivero.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Danny Wolf, odd comment, man. We're not going to show that.
Thanks.
Appreciate the $2 super chat, but it's an odd comment, man. Yeah. Apparently I'm being touched tonight. That might be the most out-of-touch reality comment. Sam Brown, see ya.
You were the last to play, dude.
This is why you subscribe to the channel, though.
Day.
All right. Not necessary. Let's keep it rolling here. 360 people watching. Make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already. If you're one of the people in the live chat that aren't subscribed, please join us because we have content every single day here at the channel. We appreciate everybody who already is subscribed, but if you want more, we're not going anywhere. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Coordinators being hired.
QBs.
Quarterback decision with Tua. Do you cut him pre-June 1st, post-June 1st? Free agency in March, draft in April, combine in February. We'll have you covered with everything you need to know. So join the channel right now. Join the channel. Oh, Wasim came in with a $2 super chat. It's not this one, though. Thanks for signing Hafley. You should get Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis is certainly an option for the Miami Dolphins at quarterback. 1 year, $12 million deal potentially. Certainly something I'm in. I think that's a very good option for the Miami Dolphins. I'll also say this, you see Wasim saying this, who's a Bears fan. Sorry about the loss yesterday, Wasim. But Packers fans aren't thrilled with him leaving. Like, here is why I know that he at least deserves a chance. It's because he has good connections around the league.
Yep.
Nobody, in terms of former players or people that have worked with him, have said negative things about him. And you have Packers fans, as well as some fans that have seen Hafley coach in the NFL, all say, I'm glad I don't have to deal with him anymore. Like, Packers fans are a little,
you need to know.
They're a little disappointed with him leaving. And our Packers host, Joey Peterson, just said that Packers fans would be dumb to be happy about him leaving. I don't know if you heard Joey, but the top 2 corners for Green Bay this year, Keyshawn Nixon in Carrington. I was going to say Denzel. Carrington Valentine. To no one. Top half defense in the league with nobody's at corners. Nobody. Listen, you guys can be out on him if you want. I think it's ridiculous to not give him a chance because he has pretty solid reviews across the league. Like, here's the thing. Like, here's how I know the difference, Coop. If Anthony Weaver gets the Ravens or Steelers head coaching job, Dolphins fans are excited.
They're elated.
Dolphins fans are like, oh my God, Anthony Weaver is gone, and we get 2 third-round comp picks. Let's go. Packers fans aren't
100%.
feeling that same way. And that's the difference. That is why, at bare minimum, a chance and an open mind must be had when talking about Jeff Hafley.
If the NFL tells me that he's good, I'm going to believe the NFL over Twitter and over YouTube comments. I'm sorry. I just am.
Agree.
He's got a good reputation.
Agree. BR, I'm with you. Fins fans wanted a splash move. They wanted a big name. Listen, I wanted John Harbaugh too. Didn't happen.
I do wonder if John Harbaugh's regretting his decision.
Yeah, if he knew the Bills' job was going to be open, I bet he would have taken that. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why
Josh
would
Allen.
See, here's another ridiculous comment. Sullivan hired his butt buddy. They met each other for the first time 2 years ago. Go be miserable. You enjoy it.
He won't.
Go like seriously. Like he might suck at head coach, but I'm at least going to give him the chance to prove me otherwise. Prove it that he's not. The people that are already saying this is a horrible hire, he's a horrible head coach, we're going to continue to suck. Go be miserable. Enjoy your miserable lives. Seriously, like I'm not. It gets ridiculous.
Jeremy Brewer, I'd be happy with Malik Willis on a 1-year deal.
1 year, 12.
I'm in.
To 15 mil.
I think we could do much worse than that.
1 year, 12, 15 mil. Is he the best potential quarterback for Miami next year? Probably,
Malik?
right?
Yeah.
Like, because you're not getting Fernando Mendoza, so the next best quarterback in the draft is Ty Simpson. I'd rather have Malik Willis than Ty Simpson.
He's better than Quinn.
I would say he's better than Quinn Ewers.
Yep.
Yeah, because he showed more in those 2 games at the end of the year against Baltimore and Chicago than Quinn Ewers did in his 3 starts.
He's obviously better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, he's better than, I think, like, who would you, honestly, like, no joke, who would you rather have as quarterback next year on a 1-year deal? Malik Willis or Justin Fields when he's inevitably released by the Jets?
It's easily Malik Willis.
Exactly. So I do think he's the best quarterback for you next year, but I'm also not committing a multi-year contract to him. That wouldn't be very smart. That wouldn't be very smart. We're going to continue to stay live here. If you want to get your thoughts on screen, continue to create the conversation here. Make sure you super chat, or we can get some questions. # Dolphins. I mean, we're gonna stay on here, hang out, have a good time for as long as you guys want.
The report came in from Tom Pelissero literally 1 minute after the Dolphins announced they completed the interview.
The lineage of events.
It was hilarious.
Was pretty funny. we were about to film a different Dolphins video about the latest news and rumors around the head coaching search. The Dolphins announce on social media that we have just completed our second interview of Jeff Hafley for head coach. I tweet out, very fascinating that they tweet out they completed the second interview, but no job is done. I told Coop that. I'm like, that's interesting. We start to build that social to put in our show, and then as we're about to get done and ready to film, boom. Note from Pelissero, Jeff Hafley being hired. Interesting.
Tristan coming in with the 2 says, current Packers OC doesn't call plays, just saying.
Yeah, Adam Stenovich. Doesn't call plays. Offensive coordinator. Now, it's a tricky situation when you start to talk about this, Tristan, because I talked to someone about this. It technically is an upgrade because you're going as an offensive coordinator who calls plays, but the Packers could still theoretically block the move because the title remains the same.
Now, could you give him a title of associate head coach?
Is that an upgrade? I don't know.
I would imagine so. But there's probably ways around it, would be my guess.
And you know the part that kills me as well is that the people are trying to act like Jeff Hafley and the Packers defense hasn't been good. If you combine every NFL team, Coop, over the last 2 years, since Hafley became defensive coordinator of the Packers, 2024, 2025. You know where the Packers rank in the NFL across those 2 years?
It's like damn near top 10.
It is not damn near. It is top 10. They're 8th in points allowed. They are 8th in touchdowns allowed. 10th in passing yards allowed. 9th in rushing yards. And they are 10th in turnovers forced.
So why are we acting like it's been a bad defense?
And here's another thing. I would have rather hired Chris Shula. I have said that. But for the people that will say that Shula is a better defensive coordinator, that is factually incorrect. If you look at the statistical defenses of the Green Bay Packers and the Los Angeles Rams over the last 2 years, because both coaches, Hafley and Shula, began their ascent as defensive coordinator in 2024, the Packers defense has been better across those 2 years. So I don't understand where the narrative comes in that he isn't even that good of a defensive coordinator, because the Packers defense has been top 10 in the NFL in each of the last 2 years.
I think people are just mad about the hire to be mad about the hire.
I agree, which is why I keep on calling them miserable people.
Well, they are.
Because there is not any factual evidence or proof that you can deliver to me that tells me he will, without a question, be a bad NFL head coach.
That's correct.
You guys just don't like it because he wasn't your favorite guy. And that's the difference between you and I. He is not my top guy. He was number 4 on my list. But I am not going to shit on him and say it was the worst hire ever, because I don't think that is the case.
Go vote in our live poll. Make sure to grade the hiring of Jeff Hafley. 20% of you say A. B leads the way with 43%, followed by C with 22%, and then D or F with 15%. So the people in the chat are the vocal minority, essentially.
I mean, how about Micah Parsons? Just tweeted out, generally happy for Hafley, great guy, great person, gonna miss his energy. Goes to the thought, nobody's ever said,
rusher in the league.
no one's ever said a bad thing about him. No one's complained about him and the scheme. No one's complained ever about him. No one.
This is a good point from Soto as well. Shout out to Soto with the 5. If you believe in Sully, why would you hate this hire? Do you believe in Sully or not?
Exactly. Here's the part where they're not realizing it either, Soto. They think Hafley is a buddy hire. Here's the truth. In the GM interviews, John Eric Sullivan said, when the Dolphins asked him, if we hired you, what would be your plan? He said, I would like to have Jeff Hafley become the next head coach of this team. And the Dolphins hired him anyway.
What more does that?
So the people that think it's a buddy hire don't understand, because they don't have the mental fortitude to be able to do so, that John Eric Sullivan was hired to bring in Jeff Hafley as well.
He was hired full well knowing that they were going to hire Jeff Hafley. He told them that in the interview.
Because you don't fire Mike McDaniel and have Hafley as your top guy the entire process without it already being premeditated. And it was premeditated because when he was interviewing with the Dolphins, he said, my plan as GM were to be fire Mike McDaniel and hire Jeff Hafley.
That's right.
And he laid out the reasons why. And then in the interview process, it was only confirmed.
Roberto, interested to see who they hire as OC.
Yeah, I'm very fascinated. I've labeled Bobby Slowik, Connor Lewis, Sean Mannion as top options. We'll see what ultimately happens here. We'll see what happens. Like, I've said this entire time too, Coop, and you could go back and watch the content because there's no hiding from it. I've said what I said. He might be a disaster. He could be. And that's why I think the offensive coordinator hire could be one of the biggest things that need to happen. If you hire a bad offensive coordinator, you are going to be in a very bad spot.
You are. You absolutely are. And we know it's going to be a bridge QB this year more than likely before they try to find their guy in 27. But yeah, he's got to hit on the OC hire. There's no sugarcoating that. What a name here. $10 super chat from God's Final Nut. People can be mad, but we got nothing to lose. If he gets one playoff win, he'd be the best Miami coach in 25 years. Love the hire. And that is the God's honest truth. If he gets one playoff win and the Dolphins are playing on the second weekend of the playoffs, he is the most successful Dolphins coach of the 21st century.
It's the truth.
It is.
It's the truth. It's not a high bar.
It's a fact.
It's not a high bar you got to go over, but it's the truth. Like, that's why this is the perfect way to think about this, in my opinion. He loves the hire, so maybe he was one of the guys that he wanted to hire from the beginning. I don't know. You could let me know in the comments, but how could it be any worse?
It can't be. It quite literally can't be.
Hey, CEO, you've been against Hafley the entire time. You said, no, we wanted Shula because he's a better option. What in your mind makes him a better option? Seriously. And now, by the way, this is coming from a person who had him third on my list of candidates, ahead of Jeff Hafley by one. But can you show me one tangible piece of evidence and factual proof that tells you he is a better head coach candidate other than his goddamn last name?
And that's what it is.
You can't do it. You can't. You can't do it.
You waiting?
I'm curious. Like, Shula would have been a great hire.
I would have loved it.
Would have loved it. But there's no factual proof I could provide you that he would be better than Hafley, because the Packers defense, if you want to just go there, has been better than the Rams defense in each of the last 2 years. And we have the stats. We could bring up there's a list 10 logo or 8 logo of the Rams. I think it should be there.
I'll bring it up.
If you want to find it, we'll show the numbers. The Packers defense has been better.
Here's the Packers defense.
Top 10 in almost every stat in 2024. Top half in almost everything in 2025. You combine the 2 years, top 10 in every stat. Top 10 defense over the last 2 years when you combine both 2024 and 2025 when Jeff Hafley was the defensive coordinator. I can't wait to show this.
Pull it over real quick.
All right, it's going to be a little bit of time. Coop's going to have to pull it over, but I'm telling you. Let me see if I can just read it off here. I'll go find it. Give me a second.
So you saw the Packers there. Then Rolly's going to read off here. I'll go for it as well.
I got to find the Rams defense here. Rams defense. 2024. 17th in points, 26th in yards, 22nd in rushing yards, 20th in passing yards. 2025, 10th in points, 17th in yards, 12th in rushing yards, 19th in passing yards. He made improvements from 2024 to 2025, but did you notice that they're worse than Jeff Hafley's defense? And once again, I had Shula as a higher candidate list. I thought he was better. I would have rather had Chris Shula than Jeff Hafley. But once again, there is no tangible evidence that would tell you he would be better than Jeff Hafley, other than you guys like his name because his grandfather won 2 Super Bowls for the Dolphins. And it's just the truth. Sawyer! What's up, Sawyer? Off topic, but what do you think about drafting Ty Simpson in round 2 if he's available? I'd contemplate it. Certainly wouldn't do it in round 1. Round 2 is where we can have a discussion. Not doing it in round 1. Round 2, we could have a discussion. Jeremy, at least he could talk without saying every word. Go listen to him speak at the podium.
It's electric.
You know what you will hear when you watch it and listen to it? Conviction. Confidence. Something Miami has not had at head coach or quarterback in the last couple of years. Rob, great new start. GM and coach, let's go. I'm excited. Fins up. Exactly. Yeah, it's a blowout. I don't know if they're going to be a GM and head coach that brings Miami to a Super Bowl and wins it. Who knows? It's very hard to do. We'll see. But they both come from an organization in Green Bay that has been one of the most successful organizations in the history of the franchise, and specifically over the last 20 years. They have went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love and barely skipped a beat each time, staying competitive, winning the NFC North, and competing in the playoffs every year. And I'm supposed to not be happy about having that way of thinking, team building, and coaching inside Miami, which has been a clusterfuck in the last 25 years.
If there are organizations that you would like to emulate your organization off of, it doesn't take very long to get to the Green Bay Packers on the list. Like, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously. You look at the Los Angeles Rams. You could say the Bills, but they have their flaws too. And then the Packers are pretty damn near on the list after that. Like, they are in the playoffs every year. Winning record every year. Competent play and coaching every year. It just are. Like, wanting to be the Packers of the South is not a bad thing. It just isn't.
It's crazy that people look at that as a bad thing. Or are mad that they have a GM and head coach that have a good working relationship and are connected.
And by the way, no one is guaranteeing that it's going to work out.
Yeah, like, I'm not up here saying it's the best hire Miami could have made. I just can't get over the fact people think it's this bad and won't even give him a shot. It's like Terry Collins, the Mets. You got to give us a shot.
They did nothing to that guy.
Fuck Chase. Fuck Chase Utley.
It just slipped out of his hand.
Hot dog, this is what, like, I'm not even saying it's a good hire, dude. I'm just not saying it's a colossal mistake. Hot dog, I gave it a B-. I said in my one-word reaction, it was a solid hire. I didn't use the word good. I had 3 candidates higher on my list of who I'd rather hire. Jesse Minter, Robert Salah, and Chris Shula. I would have all rather hired them. The only difference is, and I'll continue to say it, I'm not saying this is an absolute disaster. I'm giving him a chance to prove that he can be a good head coach.
And I'll say this as well. We would have done that with anybody they hired.
That's not true.
I would have done that with anybody they hired.
I will have openly admit. Like, you can be mad. There were 3 candidates that weren't even in the like same league as Jeff Hafley. Those would be Joe Brady, Calvin Shepard, and Patrick Graham.
Did any of those really have a chance?
No, but they got interviewed.
Yeah,
so
that's
if you
fair enough.
look at all of the interviews Miami had, there were 3 coaches I would have dismissed immediately and said it's a colossal mistake like some people think this hire is. But the other 7, giving them a chance no matter what. Quabless, didn't we get Philbin after he had a long career with the Packers? That a lot of people have compared this to, it feels Joel Philbin-ish. But here's my thing, Coop. And I said this before the 2024 NFL draft. If you get caught in the trap of trying something.
They did get him from the Packers for what it's worth.
But yeah, but if you fall into the trap, Coop, of trying something, it failing, not working out, and you would never do it again because it's the same type of upbringing, then you are you are set up for failure no matter what.
Correct.
Because why did I say this and compared to the 2024 NFL draft? You know how many people, Coop, and he still went 3rd overall. How many people wrote off Drake May as potential bust? Called it could be a horrible quarterback because he was a player wearing number 10 coming from North Carolina, just like Mitch Trubisky.
Insane.
And he's now 1 game away from the Super Bowl in year 2 and is at worst the second guy getting MVP votes. If you are someone who is going to judge someone just based off of their upbringing because you made a similar move in the past and it did not work out, then you are set up from failure from the beginning. Julio with the 2. Shula's defense was cheapest in NFL. There's 1. Listen, I get it, but Micah Parsons makes up half of that reason, getting paid $40 million. I mean, you're going to act like he's got some star defensive players. His starting corners were Carrington Valentine and Deshaun Nixon. Coming into the year, Coop, the Packers were the only team in the NFL labeled with a worse cornerback room than the Miami Dolphins. Both of them actually played really well. Wow. Jack Jones, Russell Douglas played well. And then the Green Bay Packers corners were looked at as the worst in the NFL.
What does that tell you?
And he got high-level play out of them. Just like Miami did with theirs. I don't know, man.
What does that tell you?
You guys tell me that Shula's a better defensive coordinator. I tell you he's not based off the statistics, and then you guys try to find excuses. Whatever fits your guys' narrative, right? Like I said earlier, there's nothing that you could show me in tangible evidence that proves to me that he is a better head coach candidate. And I'll bring it back to the same point I've made. I literally wanted Shula more than Jeff Hafley, but even I can admit that there is nothing I can actually prove to you that he was better than Hafley.
The story of Shula would be cool. It would be. But again, let's give the guy a chance, please. Let's wait until the first season's completed to at least have an opinion. Oh, and by the way, the Dolphins aren't going to be very good next year.
No, if you judge him as a head coach off next year, it would have to be Gerard Mayo level of dysfunction.
Just incompetence.
To where it's you're saying things at the podium that make no sense. Sometimes you know after 1 year, and sometimes you have to give him a second year. And with how poorly this team is set up to succeed in 2026, I just think you're going to have to give him a second year. Seriously. The difference between that Patriots decision to fire Gerard Mayo after 1 year is that they had the 3rd overall pick, right? They drafted Drake May.
And they also
had $80 million in cap space. And they did nothing. And then were horrible. And had unbelievable levels of dysfunction. And then they got Mike Vrabel, and now they're 1 game away from the Super Bowl.
And they get to play Jared Stidham.
Yeah, I guess fortune fortune favors
The fortunate.
I guess, yeah, the fortune. Yeah. God's found out again. Go Canes, by the way, Natty coming to Miami. Yeah, listen, what a day for Dolphins or Miami football. Potentially national championship, and the new head coach of the Dolphins are hired.
Yeah, Natty starts in about an hour, so good luck to the Canes.
Good luck to the Canes. Good luck to the Canes. Good luck to the Canes. All right, we got to tell you about today's sponsor again, and that is Prize Picks. The big game in professional football is almost here, but there's a big game tonight in college football. And with the football season coming to a close, well, get on the last chance of football action. But there's still basketball every night. There's hockey. There's golf. There is baseball on the horizon. And you can get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. My entry for this weekend's action in the championship round: more than Drake May passing yards, more than Matthew Stafford interceptions, and less on Rashid Shaheed receiving yards. They have early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you may not have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. They also have injury reboots, so if one of your players gets hurt in the first half and doesn't return to play in the second half, they won't count as a loss. They will just get removed from your lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. I guess this is a good question to ask, Coop.
Will Jeff Hafley win a playoff game as Dolphins head coach? He would be the first Dolphins head coach this century to do so.
Yeah. Will he do it? Tank says yes. Louis says yes.
I think he will.
That's an optimist view. I can't say for certain he will. And I will not say yes or no.
You will avoid the question.
If you had a gun to my head and I had to answer yes or no,
I'll be honest, I would.
Gun to my head. I say no.
I think gun to my head, I also do. I just want to be the optimist and say that I think I have faith in Hafley. But, I mean, recent history would tell you no.
Gun to head, I had to make a choice. 50-50 chance, yes or no. I say no because, I mean, they haven't won in 25 years, so. And I know it's going to be a couple of years until Miami even has a chance to get back there. But once again, that's not me saying he's going to be a bad hire.
Of course not.
I'm just using historical trends. But I'm giving him a chance. I hope he does. I hope he does. But I can't guarantee it. Can't guarantee it.
There's no guarantees with any hire the Dolphins make. There's no guarantees John Eric Sullivan does a great job as general manager. Now, I would say that's probably a better chance that he's good at his job than Jeff Hafley is at his, but there are no guarantees. There's obviously no guarantee that Hafley comes in here and is able to do what John Eric Sullivan and Stephen Ross are tasking him to do, which is get the Dolphins back to relevancy here in the NFL, which is somewhere they frankly have not been in a while. So there simply are no guarantees, but given what we know about Hafley, what we know about John Eric Sullivan, I would say things are trending in the right direction. At the moment, there's work to be done. There absolutely is work to be done.
Yeah. Nothing is guaranteed. But I'm going to choose to be optimistic. I'm going to choose to be optimistic. Do we have any more super chats?
I think we're all caught up here on Super.
All caught up?
Yep, all caught up.
Still 250 people watching. I mean, audience has declined a little bit here. Listen, we'll stay live as super chats continue to roll in. If you want to get on the show, that's how you do it. If you want to, we can cycle through some hashtag Dolphins questions if there's any out there. Use hashtag Dolphins and ask a question in the live chat. We'll get it on screen. We'll do that for a couple minutes here. But, yeah.
I can't believe the level of vitriol people have towards this guy.
I don't know what he did for such a hatred.
I don't understand it.
All right, let's rotate through some questions, Coop.
That's what I'm about to do. I'm getting the link in there right now.
I just don't get it. I don't, but maybe I'll never get it. Like, a lot of people know who Nico Elite Takes is on Twitter. He's got 104,000 followers. Dolphins fan. Talks about anything NFL. Quote tweeted the announcement, says, wasn't my top choice, but it's a good coach, and I'm willing to give him a chance. Let's rock. That's all you got to do. That is all you got to do. If he wasn't your top guy, fine. But he's been a good coach in the NFL. Just let him prove that he can do something. If he proves he's bad, he proves he's bad. If he proves he's good, he proves he's good. I mean, the people that want Shula, I'm sorry. Like, he's a good coach. I would have liked to have him. You guys only want him because of his name. His name's Chris Smith. You guys wouldn't think of him as a head coach candidate like you guys do. It's actually disgusting from you. Just drives me nuts. Living in the 70s with those names. Points like no player has complained about him and had top half defense in the league. Just sets the bar incredibly low. We need to demand more. I'm tired of watching mediocre team. What makes you think he's going to be bad? I mean, that's the point that I'm making. If he's beloved by former players and has had a top half defense, like, those are just points I'm making. What bar do you want to meet? You want him to be a fucking Super Bowl winning head coach already? Which one of those guys are coming to Miami? Newsflash, this organization is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the 21st century. Who are you convincing to come here? Asa.
That's a great point before we even get to this. If the Dolphins are so bad, why would a coach want to come here? And then you'll get mad that they hired said coach. It's a great point.
John Harbaugh was off the books. Mike McCarthy didn't get interviewed. Mike Tomlin's doing TV. What other head coach do you magically want that's going to be so much proven and better? Sean McDermott, the head coach that couldn't do a thing in the playoffs with the best quarterback in football on his team? Yeah, that's the guy you guys want. Here, coming in, Sean McDermott. Why would you hear Shimko when you could get Bill's All-Star coach? Idiot Dolphins. Yeah, he really did really good with Josh Allen, top 5 quarterback in football. I'm sure he would do much better in Miami with a worse roster. Guys,
you're worked up.
Because they think they have no idea. Give the guy a shot. Give the guy a shot, man.
Seasoned says, who would be your top 3 OC candidates?
I haven't thought about it in-depthly to a degree just yet. I mean, we'll see how the chips fall. I don't know if Jeff Hafley would bring in a guy like a Cliff Kingsbury or a Brian Dable. I don't know. But I do think for a first-time head coach to have experience at the offensive coordinator position could be very valuable.
Head coaching experience at the OC position, too, is not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Like, if you want top 3 is a tough discussion, but names that I would be pretty fine/happy with. Bobby Slowik, who was an offensive coordinator for 2 years in Houston. I would put Dable and Kingsbury on the list. I would put Thomas Brown on the list, I think. Pass game coordinator in New England and tight ends coach, who's had head coach interviews, by the way. Could he get an OC look? He was the interim OC for the Carolina Panthers back in the day. Thomas Brown's an interesting name.
Would you go with a guy like Slowik who was on the staff?
I don't hate it. I think Slowik's an interesting option. I think he's an option. I think Slowik is slowly becoming my top guy because he's still young. He's like 38.
Yeah, very young, and has a lot of experience for
He's
being
done
so
it for
young.
2 years. He's been an offensive coordinator in the playoffs. So, like, if you, God forbid, made the playoffs, you have an offensive coordinator that's been there before and won 2 games.
Absolutely.
The Texans have won a playoff game in each of C.J. Stroud's seasons. How about it?
Learned in one of the best offensive minds in the league in Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Could do a lot worse.
I think Slowik is one of my. I think Slowik might be my top guy. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, I like Slowik. And a lot of people are going to point to the regression from year 1 to year 2 in Houston. Did you not see C.J. Stroud? He might be more the reason for that than Bobby Slowik.
4 picks in the first half.
And by the way, the offensive line in Houston, horrible.
Oh, bad.
Over the last 3 years. So I don't know how much input Slowik had in those couple of years on who was ultimately signed or drafted at the offensive line position, but like it wasn't like it was that good of a deck of cards in hand to be holding there. Yeah, you had what's his name? CJ Stroud, but like he has proven to not be as elite as we thought he would be.
Exactly. Soto with the 5.
Yeah, I like Soto. I'm with you. Other than wanting the Dolphins to win and actually be successful, hope Hafley is good just to prove the chat wrong. I'm being petty now. Soto, I feel the same way. So when the chat is in groupthink, I almost want the opposite to happen. This happens on my Heat channel all the time. People wanted to trade Bam at Adebayo. If you're a Heat fan, I don't know. And
So does Mavs fan.
trade Bam and literally like make Khalil Ware the face of the franchise. It was such a dumb decision and idea that I almost found myself starting to root against Khalil Ware. Almost. I did never, because I can never root against players on my own team. Unless they are bad people. But Khalil Ware is not a bad person. So I almost found that very happy.
You're a better man than I. I root against Anthony Davis.
You root against AD?
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, it might be.
No, it's not my. It is bad. If you root against people on your own team, that's ridiculous. And like, I have no clue. Are the people that are not happy about Hafley going to root against Miami so they can be proven right?
Oh, they would like that.
That'd be horrible to see that. I hope it's not. I hope that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
Good question here from Los Pablo. What are we doing with our QB situation now that we got our general manager and head coach sorted?
I think they ultimately released Tua. Is it post-June 1st? Is it pre-June 1st? I guess we'll find out. Even though I would be fine taking the $99 million in dead cap and just moving on and making 2026 a bad down year, I bet Miami does it in 2020 or post-June 1st to spread out a little bit of the dead cap hit and allow themselves to have more cap space this year to potentially add to the roster. Like, I think that's the case because if you release Tyreek Hill post June 1st, you save $35 million. So
He's gone.
We'll see. I think it's more likely than not Malik Willis is someone you go after. I would be curious to see who Miami's quarterback could be if it's not Malik Willis.
Allow me to read this quote from Richard Sherman that I just saw on Twitter.
I tweeted this quote, by the way, too.
On Jeff Hafley, who he played under from 2018 to 2020. His preparation is some of the best I've seen. I've had some great defensive coaches, and he is right up there with his preparation. We are talking about one of the best corners that has ever played football. I think he's a Hall of Famer. That's what Richard Sherman thinks. Why should I not be excited about Jeff Hafley if Richard Sherman is?
One of the best corners of all time. Like, not first choice, not last choice. All like John Eric Sullivan being hired, trust the new GM's vision.
Exactly.
Like, the entire NFC North is legitimately selling. Like, Bears fans are happy he's gone. Vikings fans are happy he's gone. And Lions fans are happy he's gone. Yet,
Dolphins fans aren't happy. Because his name's not Shula.
And won't even give him a chance. Meanwhile, division rivals who play him twice a year are happy that they don't have to go against him as defensive coordinator.
Weird, man.
Don't get it, man.
Weird.
Don't get it. Not in tune with college ball. What are the odds? Moore or Arch being the top QB in 2027 or the Dolphins quarterback? Well, Dante Moore, I think, will without a question be the projected number 1 pick. When we are doing mock drafts in 2026 in August, before the college year starts, Coop, Moore will be the projected number 1 pick.
I think he should be. I don't know that he will be.
I will make the guarantee he is. And I say that because if I know this was a weak quarterback class, but if he was going to be the projected number 2 overall pick, and then he returns back to school, many of these analysts and people that do the mock drafts are going to believe he takes a step forward and improves. So even in a more loaded class, you would imagine people will expect him to be the number 1 overall guy.
That's fair enough.
I think Arch Manning will be predicted to be a top 10 pick. Is that right? I don't know. But it's going to be the case. So we'll see.
I think people hate Arch Manning because his name's Manning.
No.
And you're one of them.
People think higher of him because of his name.
And I think they hate on him more because of his name.
Just like Chris Shula. It is
100%
same thing. Both the people think highly of Chris Shula. Higher. He is deserved to be a head coaching candidate, but people believe higher things of Shula in Miami because of his last name, just like people believe higher things about Arch Manning in the NFL as a quarterback because of his last name.
That's right. Max Christie, elite.
You guys stink.
Yeah, I know. Bad ball club.
It's the Pistons, and it's nobody. It's actually the Thunder and nobody.
Exactly.
This might be a one
End the season.
Fascinating.
KJ Cousins came in with the 2 and said, "Who is the next Dolphins head coach?"
Jeff Hafley. Do you have that player card? We could do the meet the player card, run through some graphics here. We're still losing some viewership here, so unless super chats keep on coming in like KJ's, we're going to probably get off here in the next 15, 20 minutes, let you guys get prepared for the college national championship game. But the newest head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Jeff Hafley, 46 years old, from New Jersey. Began coaching Division III football in 2001. Actually got started in Division I football coaching in my neck of the woods, the Albany.
Really?
Albany. Yeah. Head coach at Boston College for 4 years, 2020 to 2023, before he became the Packers defensive coordinator in 2024. Both years as Packers DC, they ranked top half in the NFL. 2024, they were top 10 in the NFL. Wasn't the most winning head coach at Boston College, but I'm going to continue to say it. Find me a head coach that had consistent winning success in Boston College in the 20th century.
You won't.
You can't. When was the last time they were successful? With Matt Ryan?
With Matt Ryan, yeah.
Like,
no joke, yes.
Like 15 years ago?
They were good with they got up to number 2 in the country with Matt Ryan. And I don't believe they've been great since.
We're going to look at Boston College Eagles' record.
Were they good with Well, I guess Castellanos was one of those years. Yeah, the Fenway Bowl year would have been Castellanos.
Oh, here's the records. I was looking at the wrong spot. Do you want to know what their best year was in the last decade, Coop? Since 2015.
I'm going to guess it was 7-6.
That would be correct.
Yeah.
They did it 3 times, in 2016, 2017, and then under Jeff Hafley in 2023. The best year, and by the way, 7-6 is the best year since 2010.
That's unbelievable. They've been that bad.
When they had Matt Ryan in 07, they were 11-3. 10-3 in 06, 9-5 in 08, 8-5 in 09, and then after the 8-5 09 season, they have never been better than 7-6.
But people want to kill him for his record at Boston College.
Just you can't win there. Bill O'Brien, in his 2 years of taking over, 7-6, same record as Hafley in his final year, 2023. Bill O'Brien, that was his first year with Tommy Castellanos, 2-10 this year.
He had one losing season in a place that is known for losing.
Honestly, I think I'm going to start spinning on this. The fact that out of 4 years, he only had one losing season.
It's unbelievable.
I'm going to call that impressive.
It is impressive.
I'm going to call it impressive. Like, people bombing hit the Boston College 4 years because he was 22 and 26 there. I don't think understand how difficult it is of a place to win. Boston College is horrible.
There's a reason no one's done it.
Like, what's the best they've ever been in their history? Had they ever been higher than the Matt Ryan year? Yeah, they were number one in 1942.
You know what also was happening in 1942?
World War.
Everyone was over in Europe, not playing football.
World War. How about it? How about it? What a horrible program. I tell you what.
Oh my God, they're horrific.
I knew they were bad.
Oh,
I didn't know they were that bad. I didn't know that. 7-6 is your best year since 2010.
You could argue that they are worse than Kansas as far as like a P4 program. Guess they don't play football much up there.
Yeah. And there it is. CEO finally admitted why he actually doesn't like the hire. It's because of his haircut. Shocker. Low IQ person hates a hire because of the way the guy looks.
And then he just said he's a garbage college coach, literally showing he knows nothing about college football.
Yeah. Like,
Shame.
I'm not even trying to make it seem like this is the best hire. It's my fourth on my list. I said it's solid. I graded a B-. But the people saying it's going to be the worst hire that this organization could have made, just frustrating not to even give him a chance.
It's sad, is what it is.
Sad.
It is.
You want to put a 2-minute timer up, Coop? No super chats come in the 2 minutes. We'll sign off here. Audience continues to dwindle a little bit as the national championship game draws closer.
Who you got?
I'm going Indiana. I know that's going to be upsetting to some people, but they're just the best team in college football all year.
Why pick against them now?
Why pick against them?
Yeah.
I think Miami keeps it close, though.
I do, too. I think it's a close game, but I think the Hoosiers end up...
if I was a betting man, I would take the Miami 7.5 spread.
Is that what it is?
I think it actually might be up to 8.5, which I would then take as well.
Yeah, I would take Miami.
But my thing is, like, Indiana in these college football playoffs against Oregon and Alabama, I know they're not the best teams this year, but, like, boat raced them. Like, they were never close.
Oh, yeah.
And if they get up early on Miami and Carson Beck has to win the game throwing the ball,
no chance.
No chance.
Nope.
No chance.
KJ says hi.
Hi, KJ. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm shocked at how people are taking this news.
I'm not. Who will be the OC? We'll see. Yeah, we'll see, Robert. I certainly didn't think the Canes would be here. I actually picked them to beat Texas A&M. Very on record saying Miami would beat Texas A&M. I did think they would lose to Ohio State. I did take them against Ole Miss, though. I took Miami. So, the truth, if you're looking at my betting following Miami football, in the college football playoff, 2-1.
How about that?
I had Hurricanes against A&M. I bet on them. I took Ohio State, but then I did bet Miami minus 3.5 against Ole Miss. They won by 4.
All right, shot clock expires.
Shot clock expires. Season would a 9-8 impress you? That would be the equivalent of going 14-3. Like, I just don't think you guys understand how bad the Dolphins roster is going to be next year. Guys, they have negative $26 million in cap space right now, and they're going to have to cut Tua, which adds to negative cap space this season. Like, there's going to be no way for Miami to upgrade the team through draft, or excuse me, through free agency. The only way you upgrade this roster is by making elite level draft picks. So the only chance you have is to hit on your draft picks. So if you are better than 7-10 next year, which is what Miami finished at this season, that would be unbelievably impressive.
Yes, it would.
Especially considering Miami has the second hardest strength of schedule based on their opponents' record this year. Like, if you take their 17 opponents in 2026 and combine their record in 2025, second hardest schedule. So hard schedule. Roster is going to be brutal because of the lack of cap space. Thanks, Chris Greer. Thanks, Tua. Anything better than 7. Hell, 7-10 again would be phenomenal. It tells me we're building something.
Absolutely.
I expect 4-13 or 5-12. I expect it. What do you think the first big moves will be? Cutting Tua or Tyreek Hill. That's the truth. All right, that's going to do it for the live show. Appreciate everybody who joined us here for the Jeff Hafley hiring announcement. 5-year contract per Adam Schefter. I think that's pretty standard.
Yeah, that's standard.
Curious to see what type of money he gets per year. Not that it really matters. It doesn't impact the team whatsoever. It's just Stephen Ross's pocket. Coaching staff payments don't matter to cap space. Just matters to the ownership. So, yeah, but 5-year deal. We'll see what happens. I've seen nothing but positive reviews on Jeff Hafley, and hope that's the case. All right, it's good to have a head coach and GM in place, though, Coop. It really is.
No doubt.
It really is.
It feels nice.
Appreciate everybody hanging in, watching out. Peace out. Good luck, Miami Hurricane fans.
Yes, sir.